we have this image of emerging and then having emerged as when you used to make your sort of debut in society. I don't know, like as a young girl or something, you're a debutante and then you come out and then you're there, you're out, basically. I don't think it's as simple as that. It's not something that you're necessarily in control of. I suppose you do somehow have to exist in the world. You can't live in a vacuum. If you don't show your things to anyone, then no one's going to see them.
Emerging as an artist, I think, is quite a complicated term because it's often used by the contemporary art world, often the marketised side of the contemporary art world, as an artist who is coming out of art school, one to watch, beginning to make things and start to be collected, perhaps.
There are different models for an art career, that it's not always about leaving college and then being picked up by a gallery and then being at Frieze in the space of 5 years and having a solo show at an institution. Practices and artists work at different paces with different rhythms in different kinds of contexts, and there are all sorts of different ways to have a successful practice. And some of them are very dominant and some of them aren't, but they're all ways of making really good work that has a visibility and reaches the audiences that it should reach.
There are major players that influence what we come to think of as emerging art or emerging artists. Starting with art schools, followed by artist-run spaces, journals, magazines, writers, curators, collectors, and galleries, followed by auction houses. The list goes on.
All of these external factors you're not really in control of anyway. So if you can shift your idea of what being successful means to something that is more within your hands, then I think you can be happier as an artist.
I think the term emerging is useful often within the kind of current environment of the art market, which is, I mean, over the last 25 and 30 years, it has burgeoned as a commercial environment. So you often have galleries that seek to represent emerging artists. You often have collectors that are looking to extend their collection by speculating on young emerging artists. But the term does become a bit of a signal which then operates within a commercial context. And I think for artists themselves, while it can be useful for helping them identify themselves, it doesn't necessarily become useful in terms of their own practice. In lots of ways, artists start making work and then they spend their lifetime developing that work. And then through that lifelong endeavour, they extend and sophisticate everything that they do. The way in which that relates then to the market will vary a lot in terms of the kinds of work they make and also perhaps their own personal position.
The Zabludowicz Collection is a collection that was founded by the Zabludowicz family in the mid-1990s, and it was established as a philanthropic endeavour. Whilst we acquire work, and through the process of acquiring work, that does mean that we have an effect on the market and the market has an effect on us, and that kind of changes the price of their work potentially. We don't acquire work in order to sell it, so most of the work that we acquire stays in the collection.
I've seen the art world transform actually since I graduated as a student in the early 90s. The culture of the art market has really exploded over that time and had a great effect on perhaps the expectations of some artists. I think some artists think they should be doing certain things as they come out of art school.
These things can happen a bit too quickly sometimes. If you can pace yourself, if you can slow down this kind of sense of emerging, then maybe you can keep emerging and you can always be in that sort of state, perhaps, which I think can be positive.